As the drug cartels defy Mexican authorities amidst the worst security crisis in Mexico, U.S. Secretary of State Hilllary Clinton, leading a top-level U.S. delegation, agreed with her Mexican counterpart that cooperation between the two countries is critical in the war against drug cartels.
We accept our share of the responsibility. As I said when I first came here a year ago, I think standing right here on this stage, the United States is your partner and your supporter.
The focus now, U.S. officials say, is that some of the $1.6 billion aid package, known as the Merida Initiative to fight the drug war, will be redirected to strengthen security and law enforcement, build a more secure border, disrupt cartels as much as possible, and economically empower communities on both sides of the border.
We have
heard what Secretary Clinton has said about what we need to do to strengthen the exchange of intelligence and to carry out coordinated actions. We will see what works and throw out what doesn't.
The revision of the aid package comes amidst widespread criticism that Calderón's costly military-led strategy has failed in Mexico. But the fact that the U.S. Secretary of Defense Robert Gates accompanied Clinton on this trip is being viewed by many as U.S. support for Calderón and his strategy. More than 18,000 people have been killed since the plan began in 2006. Critics here are also questioning the U.S.'s efforts to combat the drug trade within its own borders.
We know that the demand for drugs drives much of this illicit trade, that guns purchased in the United States, as we saw some of the examples outside, are used to facilitate violence here in Mexico. And the United States must and is doing its part to help you and us meet those challenges.
Although the meeting was planned months ahead, it comes 10 days after 3 people related to the U.S. consulate in Ciudad Juárez were murdered. The first such incident against a U.S. official since Calderón took office has sparked worries that the situation may spill over into the U.S. side of the border. But for those living on the front lines of this war on drugs, there is an increased demand that the U.S. assumes a more active role. However, U.S. officials deny that troops will ever be sent into Mexican territory.
The Mexicans have what has been described by many people as a war on their hands. Obviously, our role in it is far different than the role that we are playing in Iraq and Afghanistan, where we have 200,000 troops on the ground in both those countries combined. So we do not have forces on the ground in Mexico. We have been providing assistance and hardware and advice and intelligence and things of that nature. But there is not a military role per se for us in Mexico, and we hope there never will be.
Mexico and the United States agree they both share the responsibility to bring back security to thousands of citizens caught in the crossfire and to contain the spread of the drug trade. But as they implement policy changes, many here in Mexico say that the only way the violence will be stopped is if people in the United States curb their appetite for drugs. Mariana Sanchez, Al Jazeera, Mexico City.